Why are you looking so serious?
That's my baby. I'm done.
That's my baby.
We're going at it at 110%.
I just want 5 minutes of happiness, please. Just give me 5 minutes.
And they scored! They did it!
Left, feet left.
What the hell was that?
Oh yeah! What the fuck are you talking about?
Hey guys, welcome. It's Friday night. It's gloomy here in Illinois. Kind of sucks, but it's all good. I'm here with my two hosts, Andrew Haney and Son Tarzan, who happens to be my son, and he's a fantastic bodybuilder. Like, so exciting. Anyway, guys, I am so thankful for you guys tuning in. Make sure you subscribe and like my show page and A2D Radio, you guys. That's how we get out there. That's how we get our guests. That's how they find out that we're alive on Spittin Fire with Rachael Blaze. And we've got a great lineup tonight. Are you guys excited?
Beyond excited.
We've got let's see, Shannon, the Cannon, Ritch is going to be on our first half of the show. And then the second half, we're going to have Stitch. Everybody should know who Stitch is, right, guys? He's the most famous cut man out there. I'm really excited to have him on, and I really appreciate him taking the time out for both our guests. Let's see here. So I'm going to go over our disclaimer real quick. A2D Radio and Rachael Blaze brand are not liable for anything said by any guest on the show, as this is a live show. Not recommended for anyone under 18. We do use language, and we do talk about topics that are probably not children-friendly. We will have a children-friendly show, just not right now. I have something in the works. And I also wanted to go over our sponsor. Many of us and our families deal with mental health and addiction issues. We are happy to support the Counseling Center and Sunrise Detox. If you need help, please call 856-651-8117. 856-651-8117. Guys, if you're feeling bad, you're feeling low, and you're feeling lonely, just give them a call. I'm sure somebody will be there to listen and talk you through whatever it is that you're going through. PTSD is rampant right now, and we've got a lot of emotional people out there, and I wish I could hug each and every one of them. I have issues myself sometimes. And I think we all have some of those depression issues, right? You know, we all go through a period of time where everything's not roses and rainbows and unicorns, right? As my friend Becky would say. So I do want to go into our poll question tonight. Should there be a cutoff age for combat sports? Agree or disagree? So where I was referencing that question was like Shoney Carter. I'm not going to give his age because he probably would sock me one, but we all know how old he is anyway, because you could just look it up on Wikipedia. But anyway, he's one of my really, really good friends, and it concerns me that he still wants to take fights, and especially at his age and given the circumstances of all of the knockouts and different things and head blows and all kinds of things he's experienced while in his fight career. So it's concerning to me, and I don't agree with him continuing on fighting. So I do think that there should be a cutoff age, only in protection of the fighter himself or herself. I'm really big on fighter safety, and I think if you are at the brink of, I don't know how to explain it, but if you're at the end, then, call it quits. It's okay. Because, there's a ton of other opportunity things to take advantage of in combat sports that we can utilize your skills for. And I'm really, really excited. I am really excited about tonight. I don't know. I've said that probably 500 times today. And poor Shannon's probably like, oh my God, girl, it's okay. It's okay. But no, it's really exciting because not only Shannon, he's the busiest man in the universe at the moment, but he is an Army veteran, and I have a huge heart when it comes to our veterans, and I've done lots of charity events for homeless vets. So that was probably the biggest hero, I don't know how to explain it, but it was just amazing to learn that in addition to his fighting skills and all the other things and acting, that he has served our country and he still serves our country.
Yeah, I was going to chime in. Yeah, we might know him from just being a badass, but today we'll get to see a couple other things that he's done. He's definitely got a man of many trades, if you want to say. So, yeah, we'll definitely get to dig in. Like I said, not just a badass in one sport or one of these. He's just, like she likes to say, just a badass. And here we go, the one and only.
And we welcome Shannon. Look at Shannon.
Agree to disagree. Thanks for letting me come on, man. I appreciate you guys. Rachael Blaze, it's good to see you, finally meet you. And yeah, hope we can get some good conversation. I like this.
Yeah. I know that you and I had a few conversations yesterday and today, and learning so much that you and I have a lot in common. And there's just so many awesome things that we spoke about. And I hope that we can touch on a few of those tonight.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Why don't you tell Alyssa a little quick, because I know you can go on and on and on and on about yourself, but a quick little something to A2D Radio and the people watching, you know, to let them know who you are.
Well, like you said, I wear a lot of hats. You know, I do a lot of different things, but I am Shannon the Cannon Ritch, 8-time MMA world champion. I am current bare knuckle boxing heavyweight world champion. Guys, I do it all, man. If it's a combat sport, I do it. I do Brazilian jiu-jitsu. I've won worlds twice. I do kickboxing. I fought in K1. I have over 100 wins. There's only 3 guys in the world with 100 wins. Myself, Travis Fulton, and Dan Severn. So that's a good group of guys to be a part of.
Nice
I got to disagree with something you said just a few minutes ago. I was sitting in the queue. Now I'm at that ripe old age of 50, and I'm still getting after it, and I'm still fighting. And I fight 3 ways: hard, fast, and continuously. Now listen. You said that there should be an age to when people cut it off. I don't believe there should be an age when to cut it off. I believe it's up to the person, the individual, and their skill set. Now, when you're getting old and slow and you can't keep up with the young guys, then maybe it's time to stop. But when you're up there and you're fighting and you can still hang and you can still bang and still beat these guys half your age, if you want to fight, you should be able to fight. There are a lot of tests that we have to take. There's a neurological exam. You take that neuro exam. Look, if you can't pass that neuro exam, no doctor in his right mind is going to let you continue to fight. So
what does that consist of, Shannon?
You know, it's a lot of things. They show you pictures. They ask you a memory question, more than one. There's several memory questions. There's pictures that you have to put in to different boxes. And, you know, more or less, they're just trying to see if your cognitive skills are still going. And, you know, if your cognitive skills are still there and you're, you know, I can do a neuro exam and pass it just like a guy's 21. So as an age thing, that's not there. It's a physical thing. I mean, if you're slow, like, you know, you mentioned Shoney Carter. I mean, God bless him. The guy's been around for a long time. But yeah, you're right. I don't think he belongs in a ring anymore. I think he's slow. I don't think he. I just don't think he has it anymore. But you know, we're going to see guys that are fighting in the UFC. You know, I know tomorrow night UFC 260. There's another guy in there. I don't think should be fighting. His name's Tyrone Woodley. You know, for an example, I just don't think he has it anymore. I just don't think he wants to fight anymore. So is it an age thing or is it a physical thing? So that's where I have to come in and say, hey, a guy at 50 years old is just as good as a guy that's 21, 22.
Yeah, you got to be honest with your body because we're not you. So, I mean, if you're 50 years old and can be bare knuckle champion and you feel good inside, you know, we're just seeing a number on paper, 5-0. You know, we're not in there. We're not in the gym with you. Like I said, if you're beating these young cats, and these young cats nowadays they're a different breed. We're evolving and we're just learning new things. So, hey, power to you. If you still got it, and I mean.
Well, I think I do. Yeah. I'll find out June 5th when I fight Gaz Corran in Ragnarok in Norway. So we'll see what's happening.
I was just going to mention that to you. I was going to mention that to our audience that you're preparing for an upcoming fight.
Norway, very nice.
I'm fighting for a world title, bare knuckle boxing for Ragnarok. It's a brand new fight organization in Norway. It's blowing up, man. I'm telling you what, it's becoming the biggest bare knuckle fight organization in the world. It's blowing up big. Awesome. Everybody wants to fight for Ragnarok. I just happen to be the guy who got picked, and I'm going to be a main event, and I'm fighting a guy pretty young, and we're fighting for a world title. So we should see what happens.
Hey, Shannon, how do we get to watch that?
There'll be a link, it'll be a pay-per-view streaming event. There right now I've heard there's 2 different streaming companies that are going to run it. So one is BKFC TV or BKFC.TV, Bare Knuckle Boxing Fighting Championships. They're going to run it, and there might be a couple others. So there'll be plenty of links. Everyone will be able to watch it. I have no idea what it's going to cost, but I'm sure it'll be worth it.
Well, let me ask you, Andrew, is that what I signed up for last week?
Yes.
Can you watch it on Fight, like FITE?
Yeah, so now you're subscribed, so you'll catch all the bare knuckle stuff. We might have to pay like a $15 for that fight, but we did a year subscription. So yeah,
I paid for the whole
Fight
year.
TV, and like you said, the BK Bare Knuckle.tv or something. The app you can get it on your phone, on your Roku TV. I found it very easy.
Yeah, it's real easy.
Very easy.
I can't read.
What's that? A shout out from Heart Legacy Wrestling.
Oh, look at you.
I just signed up. I just actually got signed by a pro wrestling organization in Canada. It's their version of the WWE. I went out there, did a match with Ken Shamrock. He was in my corner. We had some great time. We did 2 matches, and then COVID hit. And so I haven't been able to get back to Canada and wrestle, but a big shout out to all my Canadians and all my fans out there at Heart Legacy Wrestling. Don't worry, I'm still coming back. I just, we just got to wait for the COVID thing to clear up so we can fly, get there.
I love Canada. I love Canada. Time. In fact, I just got something really awesome in the mail from Pat Militage. I got this little package of black oxygen, so I'm super excited to try it.
Oh, he talked about it on the show.
Yeah, he talked about it on the show. It's funny you mentioned Canada, and that's the first thing that comes up on my head. Like 2 days ago, I just got this package, but it's amazing. So I'm really kind of excited and nervous to try it.
What's the fans like that out there for Canada? They're into wrestling. That's
big time. They're into wrestling and big hockey fans. So when you go out there and you throw down, man, they love it, man. They're good fans. They get into it. They cheer you on, win, lose, or draw. They're there to have a good time, and it's a family thing. Even the kids come. So yeah, it's a great time, man.
Good. Well, I'll definitely check that out.
Do you?
What? No.
Oh, I just want to make sure we're not leaving Destin out. But so let's go back. Let's go back before fighting. This is the most amazing. Like, I love your skills, in fighting. But more importantly, I have to thank you for your service to this country because you are an Army veteran. Am I correct?
Thank you. Yep.
But now, if I understand it, you are a part of a private group called Blackwater, if I understand?
No, okay. So I used to work for Blackwater. They're a private security company. I worked for them during the Iraq War. Spent time in Iraq. Worked with guys like Chris Peranto, the guy who's a hero and hero of our nation. He was in Benghazi. Guys like that. Chris Garland, Jindo. Big shout out to him. There's a lot of great guys. They're all tier 1 guys. They're really great to work with. But yeah, I stopped doing that contract, and now I just do private contracting. I have my own private security company, and I still do executive protection when I can.
Do you also train as well? Do you train in firearms?
I do. I'm a CQB firearms instructor. I teach a pistol and a carbine, the M4 AR-15 platform. So I go all over around the country, and I teach different shooting classes and close quarter combat. And man, it's a good time. Here in Arizona, last weekend I was in Florida. Big shout out to Mike McGowan. He has a range out there, and actually I'm wearing his shirt. So if you can see his shirt, big shout out to Veritas Training Academy. These guys are great. If you get a chance to learn how to shoot, I think everyone, especially in this day and age, needs to know how to handle a firearm. Not only be safe, but know how to keep it safe and use it when needed.
And what are your thoughts about what's currently going on right now about firearms and then an administration wants to take our guns? How do you feel about that?
I feel like the administration wants to take your firearm every single chance they can. They I don't know if they're false flags. I don't know what the term is, but every time there's a mass shooting, believe it or not, the Democrats are right there and they're wanting to take your guns. All the First Amendment people are like, hey guys, you know what? We just did a firearms class. We had 20 something people out there with a gun, and guess what? No one got hurt. No one got killed. No one got shot. So, it's always something, as soon as someone gets shot, they want to take your weapons. Yep. But, to me, I think they ought to take your fork because forks make you fat. So you have so many people in America that are fat because they eat too much. They eat McDonald's. You know what? Should we ban McDonald's? Should we ban the French fries?
So
should we ban? We should ban forks because forks make people fat. And if you're gonna ban a gun, you should ban a fork. That's my opinion.
How about car accidents? So should we ban cars? We should just take away cars because there's always car accidents. So I mean, right? We just gotta look at a bigger picture, And you mentioned, not just how to shoot the gun, but safety of it. There's more than just grabbing a gun and shooting it. So I'm all for it. I advise people to go through classes and learn and get more comfortable with it. And hopefully you never have to shoot it.
Absolutely.
But God forbid the time comes.
It's better to need it and not have it. I mean, it's better to need it and have it than need it or not need it and not have it. So the whole situation in that is, look, even in states where you don't need a CCW, a concealed weapons permit, I believe you should still take that CCW class because it's going to teach you a lot. It's going to teach you when and when not to shoot. They have a lot of no-shoot circumstances. There's drills. They teach you about firearm safety. I believe everybody should have that. That's just my opinion.
I agree. I mean, we are definitely not living in safe times. We are living in uncertain times, and I would rather be armed than not.
Exactly.
And you're talking to someone who is completely anti-gun. Like, my kids didn't play with guns. No play guns, no toy guns, no squirt guns. We didn't do guns. And then, a few years ago, now I have like a nice closet full of firearms. I love them. I think they're great. And
she met one person that changed her mind.
Yeah. Just so you guys all know, I don't know who's listening or what, but I'll be honest with you guys. I don't have one weapon. They all went into the lake. I had a boating accident, and they all sunk at the bottom of my lake. So I don't have any weapons.
Well, technically you do. They're just hiding at the bottom of the lake.
Just those guns right there.
We all had a boating accident. You remember? Yeah, last week. Yeah, that really sucked. I had a big hole in my boat. Really, I don't know. Just sucked.
Shit happens.
Exactly, right? So have your upcoming fight? So let's talk about your opponent. Have you?
Okay.
Do you know who he is? And
absolutely.
Him? Okay.
Yeah, Gaz Corran. Dude, this guy's tough. He's a Lethway, bare knuckle kickboxing champion. He's a bare knuckle boxing champion. And he's an MMA fighter. I mean, this kid, he does it all. So he's an ultimate athlete, and he holds several belts. He's got a lot of belts. So him and I are going to go out there. We're going to stand in the middle of the ring, and we're going to throw down. He's going to knock me out, or I'm going to knock him out. But guess what? The fans are going to win in the end because the fans pay that hard-earned money, and they want to see a fight. They want to see two guys go out there, throw as many punches as we can, and knock each other out. And you know what? That's what they're going to get. They're going to get somebody that's going to get knocked out. I'm either going to get knocked out or he's going to get knocked out. It's going to be fireworks. I'll tell you that.
I don't know. Watching some of your fights, I'm not so sure you're going to be the one who's getting knocked out.
Well, some days you're the hammer, some days you're the nail. So it is what it is.
Good mindset. Is this his debut, or he's had?
No. This guy's been fighting for a long time.
In the bare knuckle though.
Yeah, bare knuckle.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, he's actually a bare knuckle champion. So yeah,
the bare knuckle, he knows what he's doing. Is a different animal. I mean, 4 ounce gloves in MMA. That's still. But knuckle to oof. So power to you, brother. Yeah, that looks like a big fist too. Bro. I'm good.
Oh, Shannon, have you ever broken your hand?
Oh yeah, several times.
Oh my God.
Hands, nose, ribs. Who's counting?
Yeah, who's counting, right? So I have to ask, obviously it's different. Bare knuckle is different than MMA because MMA you're wearing gloves and bare knuckle you're not wearing gloves but you're taped up. So do you feel the differences? Like, I don't know.
I think bare knuckle is a pure, it's the purest form of combat that you can get. One, we don't have to worry about wrestling. We don't have to worry about knees, elbows, kicks, any of that kind of stuff. All we got to worry about are the fists. Two guys going out there with 2 fists in a 2-minute round, throwing as hard as you can and as many times as you can in that 2 minutes. And it's mano a mano. It's man to man. It's the most extreme fighting allowed by law. I think once a fan watches bare knuckle boxing, they're going to be a fan. They might not even watch MMA anymore because bare knuckle boxing is so much more entertaining.
I was told because I took concussion classes at the university here in Chicago. And the doctor said, I asked him, I said, would you prefer a fighter do bare knuckle or would you prefer, is the concussion lesser with someone who's wearing a glove, and he said, I wish more fighters would just fight without the gloves because then they know when to stop.
Absolutely, because when you get punched with a glove, that force that you hit, it shakes your whole head. When you fight bare knuckle, it hits you, and that's it. You don't get those repeated blows. I mean, in regular gloved boxing, if you put the mittens on, then you're getting hit several times during a round. In bare knuckle boxing, you're going to take 3, 4, 5, 6 maybe good shots, and that'll be it. You're not gonna just stand there and get pummeled to death.
Right.
Who do you really want to fight next?
Anybody. It doesn't matter to me.
Go.
I like to, anyone, anywhere, anytime. That's always been my motto. I've never backed down from anyone, and I'll fight anybody.
Would you go back in MMA?
Oh, absolutely. I'll do MMA, sure.
That's awesome.
That's a fighter, and I'm down to fight you. And truly, whenever, wherever, whatever, let's go. I mean, it's not that. Well, hold on. He's the type. I'm game. So, going back a little bit, when you were serving, were you doing any like combat training in there?
Yeah, absolutely. See, I started fighting MMA in 1991. Back then, it was called No Holds Barred. We'd go to Mexico. Yeah. We'd do the chicken fights, the dog fights, and then the people would fight. But this is 1991. This is pre-UFC. UFC didn't come out until 1993. So, I was doing these pit fights, bare knuckle fights, no rules fights. And then the UFC came out. I watched it, and I said, that is exactly what I want to do. How do I do that? Got a hold of some people that were in the UFC. And, I just started hanging out with them, do what they did, and became a fighter. Got an opportunity to go out to Hawaii, fight at the Blaisdell Arena in front of 10,000 screaming fans. They paid my airfare, hotel, food, and they paid me to fight. I was hooked. No more of the bare knuckle stuff. I just wanted to go fight MMA, mixed martial arts. And, the rest is history. I've been fighting since 1991. So I got 30 years as a professional MMA fighter, over 236 professional MMA fights. Although, sure, dog, if you look on there, they have me down at 100 and something fights, but they don't have them all due to the fact from 1991 to 1998, this is pre-internet. So there was no internet, there was no websites, there was no Google. When you tell people you fought before Google, they look at you kind of funny, but it is what it is. It is what it is. No big deal. So I didn't go to the military till I got out in 1996. And then, I've just been doing executive protection and fighting ever since. So even though I was in the Army, I still fought.
And at 91, when you did all this backyard type of shit, you did it for fun, for money at the moment?
Oh, no. I was going to college, and actually I saw a couple guys come to class with a black eye, and I asked them what happened. They get in a bar fight. They said, no, ma'am. We were going to Mexico, and we fought in Mexico, made $500. I said, no way. I said, are you kidding me? I said, how do I do this? So I went with them, and the next time we went down there, and sure enough, man, go down to Nogales, right on the Arizona-Mexico border. They have a place called Plaza de Toros. It was a bullfighting arena. They had the chicken fights, the dog fights, and then the people fought. And yeah, man, they paid you good. I'd get like $500 every time I fought. So it was
wow,
great way to put yourself through college.
And what's up? You were pretty thick in college. You were just about the same size you are now. What?
Oh man, I was so small, dude. I used to be 155 pounds, and I'm walking around 220 right now. Yeah, I was tiny, but I have a belt at 155, 170, 185, 205 in heavyweight. I think I'm one of the only guys to ever get a belt in every weight class.
Yeah, wait, hold on, because man, there's a lot of people that be chirping out there on UFC stuff. I'm the only one that's done, one at this weight, and this weight. Well, guys, hear it. I don't know. I think someone's done it before them right here.
I might have done it before them, just not in the UFC. Different organizations, but it is what it is. In the UFC, yeah, there's a couple guys that have been champ, but I definitely have champ. Actually, I have.
Talk about that. What's up? You got some belts behind us. Is there one that stands out more than another, or what's?
No, they're all pretty good. This one right here. This is the bare knuckle boxing BKFC title belt. That's a really good one.
Brand new, newest one. Okay.
I got this one right here. It's the showdown belt for Heart Legacy Wrestling out there in Canada.
What's your first one?
Gladiator Challenge belt. Oh man, I got so many belts.
There's no way you can find the first one.
Man, I don't even know. This one over here. This one over here was one of my first belts in the early '90s. I fought in Mexico or New Mexico. Rumble in the House. Yeah, that was actually a pretty fun time. Yeah.
He was like, "That's
I
a
got
pretty
so
fun time."
I have this thing full of belts, but then I have a whole bunch under the bed, under just in the closet. I got a ton of belts. I got like 36 belts total. These are the ones I just got hanging
up. About this, man.
Yeah,
that's a lot of.
Guess what we didn't cover?
Me playing golf.
Yeah. You play golf too?
Man, like 4 days a week, man. I love to play. I just played for the VGA, which is the Veterans Golf Association. I became the Arizona State champion at the 500 club here in Arizona. I love golf, man. If I could play 4 days a week, it's great. It's a good time. And hopefully play some PGA qualifiers for the senior tour. That's my goal.
I think you're the most
accomplished
man in the entire world. That does everything.
Just enjoying life.
I got this gray beard, and I earned every one of them gray hairs. No, actually, guys, you know what I've been doing lately is I've been doing acting. I just did a movie with Mickey Rourke, Michael J. White, and a guy by the name of Cowboy Cerrone. We were out in New Mexico. We did a movie called The Commando, and that's getting ready to come out and hit theaters. And that is going to be one hell of a movie of nonstop action. And let's see, in 2 weeks, April 3rd, I am going to go to April 5th. Sorry, I'm going to be going to Jackson, Mississippi, and I'm going to be working with Frank Grillo and a guy by the name of Bruce Willis, and so I'll be doing that movie. And then then I got to and then after that we're going to Thailand and supposedly going to Malaysia, and we're going to do a movie called MR9. That's with Frank Grillo and Nicolas Cage.
Oh,
how can you do all this? How can you handle all this right now?
Balance it all out.
And you're fighting and
you just wear a lot of hats. You gotta have a good home life. I got a great home life, great support system at the house. I got a gym that I run. I got great instructors. Big shout out to Rob Diller and Joe and John Silva. Those are two of my big instructors. Jesse McCurry, Tyler. These guys all handle the gym while I'm gone. So yeah, if it wasn't for them, we got a great team.
Nice.
Yeah, he does. He owns a school. The CannonBJJ.net is where they would
that's
find
the
your
website.
school, right?
Yeah, CannonBJJ.net. I'm a 4th degree black belt under Carlos Machado. If you guys don't know anything about Carlos Machado, his uncle invented Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Go look it up. Yeah,
we will. I will be doing that when we get off here.
I will too.
Yeah.
I didn't know that either.
Yeah, there's a Gracie family and a Machado family. They're actually cousins. So
I didn't even know that.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting.
Wow.
It's a really interesting family tree. But I got to train with Carlos Machado, and it's pretty cool.
Is there any downtime for you? Do you have any
downtime? That's why I stay young, man, because I'm always moving, I'm always hustling, I'm always trying to do something. The main thing is I'm always trying to stay relevant. You got guys, that were in the UFC or former champions, and they were great in their time, but kind of things pass by, and time goes on, and you don't hear about these guys anymore. Me, I'm trying to stay relevant. I'm trying to stay in the news. I'm trying to stay busy. I'm trying to do this, trying to do that. If you got February's issue, March issue, of Skill Set magazine, big 4-page article on Shannon the Cannon. It's a gun magazine, so big shout out to Skill Set magazine. It's out in stores right now.
Shannon?
Absolutely, it's still available right now. If you go out, you can order it too. Skill Set magazine. If you guys look at that Instagram, Skill Set mag, man, it's a great article.
I'm so ordering that.
So with the comments right here, we have someone asking, since you were talking about acting, is there a movie project or maybe someone you would like to work with in the future?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I'd like to work with The Rock, Jason Statham, any of the big action stars. If I could work with those guys, that'd be a huge stepping stone for me.
Yeah, they just seem like good people too. It just seems like a good atmosphere, which just makes everything, even better.
I mean, honestly, I got a stunt coordinator director named Phil Tan. His son is Louis Tan, who's going to be starring in the brand new Mortal Kombat. He's the lead in Mortal Kombat, and they put me under their wing, and they've helped me. Phil Tan has definitely helped me get into the movie industry, and a guy by the name of Kieran Gallagher used to actually be one of my coaches for MMA, and he's a stunt coordinator, and Kieran's literally put me under his wing. He's taught me a ton of stuff about being a stuntman actor, and if it wasn't for those guys, obviously I would have no shot in Hollywood. But they said, hey Shannon, you do a great job, the camera loves you, you take direction well, and the rest is history. I mean, they're putting me in projects, and hopefully you guys will see me on the big screen.
Power to you, brother.
That would be exciting. I just want. How long have you been doing the acting for?
Acting's for a while. I did iCarly, Walker, Texas Ranger, Numbers, CSI Las Vegas, the History Channel. I've done a bunch of that kind of stuff, but the movies is just recent. I'm gonna say the last 6 months I've been really hitting it hard with the movies.
You were in iCarly?
Absolutely,
The show on Nickelodeon.
Yeah.
You're kidding me.
Walker, Texas Ranger. Walker, Texas Ranger, 2 episodes
I'm gonna have
on Walker.
to find this.
Yeah. Unsafe Speed and Medieval Crimes. Those were the 2 episodes.
And CSI is my favorite, ultimate favorite. I wish that show would come back.
Wait, is this? Oh,
with all the original characters on it. I like Horatio was my favorite.
Oh yeah.
He was my favorite. I'm like, I have a huge crush on you. Like, I'm gonna watch you every week. No, but yeah, that's exciting. So how does one become an actor? I'm sure people out there are like, well, I want to do that. How do I get to do that?
You got to get an agent, or you got to know somebody. I mean, you got to know a stunt coordinator is going to give you an opportunity. The big thing is getting your SAG card, Screen Actors Guild card. That is harder than you ever knew. And if you don't get your SAG card, you're never going to be taken seriously, and you're never going to be given an opportunity to be in a big Hollywood blockbuster. So if you're not SAG, I don't know what to tell you. You got to join the union.
How do you get on SAG? I heard you had to have so many film takes,
right? You got to have
to qualify.
You got to have so many films that are SAG qualified, and then you're eligible, SAG eligible to join the union. I got what's called Taft-Hartley. They put me in a movie. They gave me a speaking role, and therefore they took care of my SAG card for me.
Oh, beautiful. Yeah. Beautiful. So there's hope out there, guys.
There's hope. If you have dream big, and dreams do come true. There's one thing you got to do. Everyone loves to be nice. I mean, it's nice to be important. Everybody wants to be important, but most important is to be nice. So if you do that, you're nice to people. I mean, karma is a big thing. You treat people right, people are going to do things for you too.
So we talked about support team. You kind of mentioned, you got a strong team at the gym. What's going on at home? Kids, wife?
Yeah, I got a wife, Laura Ritch. Big shout out to my wife, Laura. And then we have 3 puppies. We're fur babies. We got 3 fur babies. I got 2 Chihuahuas. Me, I'm a big strong man, and I got 2 little Chihuahuas and a little dog I rescued in Mexico. So actually, they're all 3 rescues. But yeah, we have great dogs. I was looking for my dog. Actually, I was gonna put him in my lap here.
I would love to see. I want to see.
Yeah, they're gone somewhere out in the way.
They're not like him. They're not for the camera. They're like, no. It's not my life.
Yeah.
Just hop up on the table next to the camera.
So I gotta ask. So where do you see yourself in 5 years?
Retired.
Real talk? Yeah.
Retired. Living on a beach.
I'm tired.
No, 5 years, I don't know. I just know the next few years are going to be amazing. I got a lot of big things coming up. And in 5 years, hopefully, if things go right, living on the beach, retired, and just enjoying life.
Retired from everything, from physical combat.
Oh, yeah, definitely everything.
Okay. Because, I mean, you've got a vibe, and I'm sure one of these movies, man, one movie, all it takes.
It's all it takes, man. One big
skyrocket, and you just get calls, and that 5 years might
turn into like 20 or something.
So okay, I didn't know if it was just from physical combat, but you seem like the type, like if there's something and you still can do it.
Look, me and my wife, we love Mexico. We love going to the beach. I mean, we go to Cabo San Lucas, we go to Puerto Vallarta, we go to a little place called Rocky Point, Puerto Penasco. It's a little hideaway, but yeah, the beach. I mean, anytime we get to go to the beach, we're on the beach.
Can you golf out there?
Yeah, absolutely. My wife's a flight attendant. She's heading to Hawaii tonight. Can you believe that? She's leaving me to go to Hawaii. Oh my God, I'm jealous.
How long does she get to stay there for? Does she have to come right back?
She could stay like 4 days. She has an overnight that's like a 28-hour overnight or something. She's gonna be on Waikiki Beach, awesome. Just having a good time.
You can send you like updates and stuff. Oh, by the way, I'm at the beach.
You like
by the way, I got this nice tan. Whatever.
Look at how nice it is here. I wouldn't mind seeing you with Keanu Reeves.
Oh, Keanu Reeves.
That would be sick.
Today.
That'd be good. His John Wick movies are awesome because, hats off to him because he went out and actually really learned how to use a weapon. If you look at his skill set, it's beyond, it's really good. Yeah. And he trains with Egan Machado. So, he's a Machado Jiu-Jitsu guy. So, obviously him and I have a lot in common. I just never got a chance to meet him.
I have a feeling you will.
Yeah, maybe someday.
Yeah, it's gonna come up. It's gonna come up.
This is why I really like him, because he's very humble. He's always humble, and he always talks about where he came from. He doesn't go out and splurge. He's not one of those type of guys. It's interesting to watch some of his interviews and really see that he is not like all the rest of Hollywood. He's totally separated from all of that craziness that goes on in Hollywood.
Yeah, there's definitely some craziness, but yeah, Keanu Reeves is, from what I've heard, he's a pretty stand-up guy.
Yeah, like you said, pretty badass. I've seen some of his, shooting videos and stuff. Yeah, it's pretty cool to see. I like him, so that'll be fun. Yeah, and once again, man, one movie might turn into a couple, so you be ready.
Oh,
like I said, I feel like
I've got 4 right now in the works. So as soon as we do these, we got 4 coming back to.
You got any fur babies? Did we lose them?
Oh,
no, I'm here. Sorry about that.
Got any fur babies starring in those movies or what?
Just one movie, right? So the whole
this
movie,
little badass walking down the street with his chihuahua, three dogs. Like,
I've heard that. Big guys with little dogs.
And
You see the bodybuilders with the little dogs. It's funny. I mean, not funny, but it's cute.
He's like, really?
Oh God, I can't. No, go ahead.
Oh, so yeah, I was even going to kind of go back to the poll question a little bit about the combat sports. Maybe like cut off, like you said, we're not in your shoes. What about the other way around? Do you think there should be a limit before you can join combat sports and actually compete and get punched in the head? Because I see videos of youngins out there, battling. And I mean young, I don't mean like 15, 16. I mean
they're
like,
young.
I see some young cats, and I know Thailand and stuff like that. Those are different breeds out there too. So what about that? What about maybe a cutoff going into early?
In my opinion, I think you need to be 18 before you do any type of mixed martial arts that are close fist punches to the face. You need to have your time healed where you're actually grown. As a young kid, your bones are still growing. There's a lot going on in there. I don't think you should be taking blows to the head at such a young age. Before you go professional, I think you should have a minimum between 5 and 10 MMA fights, amateur, and then go pro. I mean, I've seen some guys they go pro right into pro and just get destroyed. I mean,
too eager, right?
Yeah, I mean, there are guys. Don't get me wrong. They're a wrestler, maybe NCAA All-American, and they've been wrestling since the age of 5. To me, that's time. They've got mat time. They've put the time in. But you get some guys that haven't done anything, and they're like, hey, I just want to be a fighter, and they go in and just get destroyed. So I think you need a minimum 5, maybe 10 fights, and then go pro. But that's why they have commissions, and it's up to the commissions to sanction and give the license out. That's not me, so that's a good thing. I'm not that guy.
Andrew's actually have spoken to me about trying to revamp Illinois MMA. I mean, but the sanctioning body here is so horrible. I shouldn't say horrible, but it's really expensive to have a show here in Illinois. And so I feel really bad. A lot of the promoters lost their shows because they just simply couldn't afford to carry on anymore, especially the amateur shows. So we have very little amateur shows. It used to be when I first started, we had 2-3 fights, different fight organizations a weekend. It was so busy, you didn't know which one you wanted to go to. There were so many to choose from. Now it's like, when's the next one? Oh, I have one promoter here who is fighting Illinois right now to continue to have his fights in August. And he's like, he just made the announcement they're playing with him. So he doesn't know if he can have the show in August. And so I'm finding that this is hurting so many of our promotions. And Andrew has expressed that he would like to get things going here in Illinois.
Yeah, well, pre boxing commissions, yeah, you're right. There were several fight promotions all over. Every state had 2 or 3, 4, maybe 5, and there was a show every weekend. You could literally get a fight every weekend. Obviously, that's how I got over 200 fights. But then the boxing commission came in and they took control. And you got to remember, it was a boxing commission. They don't know anything about MMA. They don't know about the sport. You got boxing guys trying to referee MMA fights. You have boxing judges trying to judge an MMA fight. You have boxing commissions trying to run an MMA show. Guys, it's two different sports, and that's where we had really had to educate these guys. It's getting better, but yeah, it's not where it should be. But it's definitely getting better. Guys like Mark Ratner, the UFC, does an amazing job. Boxing commissions are a whole nother topic.
Yeah, well, we'll touch on that another time, right. But you've done boxing yourself. I mean, how many boxing fights you've had?
Well, I'm 26-3 bare knuckle boxing. I'm 0-1 in traditional glove mitten boxing.
Okay, only one fight for boxing, huh? How come?
Yeah, I was destroying the guy. I actually put him through the ropes a few times, and I broke my hand, and couldn't continue, and it just left a bad taste in my mouth. I didn't really like boxing with gloves.
It certainly pays more for sure. I'm just saying.
It does pay. Boxing does pay, unfortunately.
It really does.
I mean, not unfortunately, but like I'm all about MMA. You know, I compete myself, so I love watching all types of MMA and stuff. But the money's not really there. When you go to boxing, now you're talking. But once again, you got to get up there. You know, you don't just step in. But
you got to get there, because I know some boxers that actually pay the promoter to go get a win. They pay to fight. And MMA, you don't pay to fight, you get paid to fight. So I mean MMA, you might only make $500, but that's $500 you're making to get an opportunity to get in the ring. Boxing, if you're not a top tier A-lister, you're not making any money. That's a myth. All these people that think about, well, I'll just go in boxing and make thousands and thousands of dollars. No, you got to go and get a good record. You got to be 20-0 before you start making any money. I know a guy right now is heavyweight. He's 8-1. And he's paying promoters to let him fight. He's literally paying people in Mexico to go fight so he could pick up a win. The promoters, I mean, they're just getting regular guys off the street, let him fight, but he has to pay, $700-800 so that he could go pick up a win. Yeah, boxing's a dirty sport, man. Boxing's dirty, and it's not always real. I mean, you're padding your record. Your boxing promoters are horrible. I mean, you could go pick up 10-15 wins because you didn't fight anybody. So now you're, 25-0. Who'd you fight? If all your fights are in Mexico and you paid to win, everybody knows who you fought. Everybody knows what's going on. They know what you did. So it is what it is.
I had a debate about padded records just the other day with a friend and stuff, and it's a tough one. Khabib, he's 29-0, but in the UFC he's 13-0. And if you kind of scroll back, I've seen some stuff like his first 10 opponents were all losing records, So, and he's still a beast, so it doesn't always mean something. But yeah, like you said, that padded record, and I didn't know about the whole, boxing. I guess I knew a little bit, but I always thought that, boxing paid way more. I guess you got to get up there. So thanks for that little bit of info.
You're a main event on HBO. Yeah, you're probably making some money. The guys on the undercard, they're not making that much money.
Okay. So maybe, all right, UFC. All right, Dana White. I got a little more respect for you, buddy. I got a little more respect, Dana. But, all right, cool.
So speaking, go ahead. I was just going to say,
you go ahead, finish.
I was just going to say, UFC 260s tomorrow. What do you guys think about that?
Woo! And you're a big boy, so this
you got you got the main event. You got Ngannou versus Miko Stipe. Hey, man, what do you think?
So I'll go real quick. We all know what Francis is capable of. Come on, we know what he's coming out with. I'm not saying that maybe he's trained and maybe he's got something out, but he's not going to go take you down. He's going to go out there and swing. And Stipe just finds a way to win, man. I don't know. He's been an underdog on his last 4 fights, even with the belt. And it's like, I got the belt and you guys are still counting me out. So I think still he's an underdog tomorrow. So yeah, I'm Team Stipe. Nothing else, Francis, but
absolutely. I got Stipe winning that fight. I think I don't think Ngannou has learned how to defend the takedown. I don't think he has enough time to learn to defend that takedown, and that's what it's all going to come out to. If Ngannou goes out and hits Stipe in the first couple minutes of that first round, it could be over quick. But if Stipe actually has really good boxing, and
he does.
If he can handle that one mad minute, if Ngannou decides to come out and fight, then I think it's a good night for Stipe. I think Stipe takes him down. I think Stipe either ground and pounds or hits him with a submission. That's my prediction.
I think Stipe's boxing is underrated. We've seen him against Cormier when he dug deep and started hitting these changing up body shots. Yeah, very underrated. He does this. You know, he's a dog. He's a dog.
And then I got to look at Tyrone Woodley again. That's another guy who used to be the champ. I just don't think he has it anymore. I don't think he wants to be there anymore. I think Vincent Luque is going to come out and he's too fast, man. The guy's a fast-paced fighter, and I don't know if Tyrone Woodley is ready for that. So I think Woodley's on that cusp. You know, he lost his last couple fights, and if Luque beats him, I think maybe the UFC might let him go. So we'll kind of have to see what happens with that.
Yeah, Prime Woodley, different story.
Woodley, different story. The guy was an animal. He was a beast, and I definitely wouldn't want to fight him. But I mean, I would, but I wouldn't want to.
Yeah, I agree.
Let's see who else we got. We got Sean O'Malley versus Thomas Almeida. Yeah, you know what, Sean O'Malley, that kid's funky, man. He's got some funky jits. The guy was undefeated.
Like
he lost. Yeah, he lost his last fight due to an injury. He came out. I think he was trying to play too much. I think this fight he comes out. He's serious, and he puts that kid away in the first round.
Yeah, agreed. There was a fight canceled on this too. There was supposed to be another title fight between Ortega and Volkanovski, which is a bummer that's not going. I was excited about that, but yeah, I'm excited about this card. I put a little bit of money down. Do you bet on things or no?
No. I never bet. I like to do my own picks, put it up on the internet, and see, just see how I do. Sometimes I go 15-0, but other times I go 0-9. Whatever. It is what it is.
That's the fighting. I mean, it's a puncher's chance. You can go out there and be losing, and with 2 seconds, you hit someone there behind the ear a little bit.
Right. Who just said they like Maverick? AD Radio.
That would be Steve.
Yeah, Miranda Maverick. That's gonna be a great fight. I think she definitely takes that fight for sure.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Hey, there's one question from our audience.
Okay.
This is from a Reed fighter, REED. I'm not quite sure. Steven just sent this to me. Okay, so they want to know why you turned down the Bubba McDaniel fight after months of saying that you were going to take it.
Absolutely, I want to fight Bubba McDaniel. Absolutely, but I signed with Ragnarok. I'm fighting June 5th. I signed a contract. The Bubba McDaniel fight was all up in the air. I never got a contract. So, do I want to fight Bubba? Absolutely. I'd love to give that guy a fight and fight for Summer and Rage in the Cage in Oklahoma. Great organization. I've been out there. I watched them fight. They put on a great show. But I signed a contract to fight in Ragnarok. They're paying me like a bunch of money, a lot more than Rage in the Cage is going to pay me to fight Bubba McDaniel. Look, I signed a contract. I asked Ragnarok, can I get out of it? And they said, no. Look, you sign a contract, you fight and you get hurt, and you're our main event. It blows our main event. We've already spent time and energy and money to promote you. And I totally understand that. It's business. So after my fight in Ragnarok, I'd love to fight Bubba McDaniel. But I just can't do it. That's it.
Earlier, what's next after him? Hopefully we can. But yeah, like you said, once you sign a contract, you gotta kind of respect and be a gentleman about her and whatnot.
Yeah, I mean, you got to be professional. Look, everybody in MMA wants to fight. I mean, that's a fighter's job, is you want to fight. Somebody offers you a fight, you say, yeah, absolutely, I'll take that fight. So on words, we agreed to fight. Bubba McDaniel said he wanted to fight me. I said I wanted to fight him. I told the promoter I wanted to fight the matchmaker. Everything was good, but there was no contract. There's no signed contract. There's no, hey, here's the money we're going to pay you. Here's the side and dotted line. It never happened. So Ragnarok sent me a contract. I signed it, I fought, and I'm going to fight. So that's it in a nutshell.
Where is this organization? Are they strictly overseas?
Yeah, they're in Norway. So they're out of Norway. Yeah, but they're going everywhere. They're going to be going to Ireland. They're going to be going to England. They may try to come over here to the United States. I mean, Ragnarok is such a great organization. These guys really put the time into the fighters. They treat you well. They pay you well. And, they're on the phone with you. Promoters don't call fighters. These guys call me all the time. They're checking in, this and that. I mean, it's blowing my mind. I'm going, wait a minute, this promoter actually knows who I am. You go fight with some people, promoters don't even know who you are. The matchmaker is the one that does everything. These are promoters, and they're calling me from Norway. Hey, man, is everything all right? Do you need anything? What's going on? Hey, what can we do to help you out? Hey, I'm blown away, man. If I'm a fighter, if I'm a bare knuckle fighter, I'm trying to find out who Ragnarok promoter is, and I'm blowing their phone up because that's where you want to fight.
Right.
Yeah, and I have to agree with Steve. I love the name of this organization. Like, wow. I'm so funny because I'm watching the Vikings series and I freaking love it.
Yeah,
So
actually, one of the guys from Vikings is going to be at Ragnarok. He's going to be a guest star.
that's awesome.
Yeah, he's one of the kings. He's got a big beard. He has a beard like this, and it's got two braids. Yeah, it's braided. It's really cool.
Wow.
And that's how he looks in real life, you know.
Oh, now
His name is Michelle Lopes.
Okay.
So if you look on my Facebook, as one of my friends, Michael, but he says Michelle Lopes, Lopes.
Oh, that would be awesome. Let's get you in Marvel.
Yeah, right. That'd be awesome. Yeah.
That would be awesome. Wait, what character would you play?
Anyone they want. Anyone they want.
What's your favorite character?
Oh, that's a different story. There you go. Favorite superhero, very favorite character like that.
Superman.
Oh, okay.
What?
How come?
You like? Yeah,
Man, he's got all the powers, man. He's Superman. I mean, he can fly. he can X-ray eyes. He can shoot a laser beam through his eye. I mean, yeah, Superman.
Okay. Superman.
And he definitely represents the masculine men that seem to be going downhill lately.
Yeah, right.
I'm like, where are the alpha males? You heard
That's
about
right.
my show for Father's Day. That weekend, we're going to have a alpha male roundtable show for Father's Day.
You know who you need to get on that? You need to get Chris Peranto on that. Tonto, guy from Benghazi. He was in that movie 13 Hours. Hey, that's a real alpha male right there. Now,
if you could get him on and link me, I would totally have him on in a heartbeat.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll call him and tell him.
I love you, Shannon.
Just like that. All you gotta do is ask.
Ask and ye shall receive. Let's make that happen. I have a good amount of openings in April, so I'm taking names.
Yeah, I'll ask him. See what he says.
Yeah, that would be awesome to have him on.
Man, I'm still kind of baffled that you do golf, man. It's an easy sport but hard to play. Is that where you go just get your mind out of things?
Yeah, that's where I recharge. You know, golf is probably the most hardest sport in the world. I mean, it's hard. I mean, you'll never beat that game. You'll never win. Put it that way. You'll never win. But you always try to get better. And once you get that one great shot, that's what always makes you want to come back.
Yeah, because the rules are very easy. It's like hit this ball into a hole. Jeez, you really have to have a mind. You really gotta.
That's like
frustrating
sports right there.
You make it sound very easy. Just hit the ball in the hole.
I'm like, wait a minute.
I like going to the range and I like mini putt, but everything together, I don't have it all around. I just don't have it yet.
I don't know if I could. I don't know. I'd be one of those afraid that I would like swing and then it wouldn't hit the ball.
I've done that before. I looked really stupid when I first started.
Yeah.
I was happy just to hit the ball. Like,
you played golf when you were younger, or you just picked it up?
No, I picked it up in like the last 7 years. So,
shit. Okay. Yeah, because it's funny. I've watched like Last Dance and Michael Jordan golf all the time when he wasn't doing practice. I mean, we see presidents, we see this. Man, maybe I should golf, man. Shit.
Hey, I'll tell you what. A lot of business deals are made on the golf course.
Oh, I never heard about that.
I've heard that so much. Yeah.
Believe me, I've met a lot of connections, a lot of sponsors. Golf course is where it's at.
Yes, I
think I'm going to take lessons.
Okay. He's
like,
Could you see me? No,
golf's for some people, not for some.
Yeah, not for me. Okay, I could do the putt. That's pretty cool, but
mini golf.
I'll leave it for the big
my
boys.
thing,
I'll leave the big balls for the big boys.
Whoa.
Or little balls.
Right.
One of those. I don't know, big or small. It doesn't matter. Right? They're
just
balls.
Wow.
She's letting it out. Right.
We know what's on her mind.
We just got sponsored by Manscaped.
Oh, nice.
ATD Radio.
Speaking of balls.
Nice. Well, let them know. Let them know I need a sponsor for this Ragnarok fight.
Look at! Did you hear that, Steve?
Pay-per-view main event Ragnarok, June 5th.
Hey, who's your favorite person you would like to golf with?
Oh man, if I could play with Tiger Woods, that'd be pretty cool. If I could play with Donald Trump, that'd be even better.
All right, why Donald Trump?
He's a
Dude,
fucking boss.
Donald Trump is the boss, dude.
He's got a pair of balls. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm just like, you know.
Wait, are we allowed
I'm
to
just
say
saying.
that?
Yeah, I don't know.
I love Trump. That man is alpha. He's a Christian and he's got some big set of balls, and I commend that man for everything he had to go through, including his family.
Yeah. Hey, there's a little question right here. It says something about
Yes.
your fight's going to be on BKFC TV. What do you think about Dave Feldman and what he's done over the last year? I'll tell you what,
Yes.
I was with Dave Feldman when he had the very first bare knuckle boxing fight. It was out here in Arizona. I commentated the event. You got to remember, I've been doing bare knuckle fighting for a long, long, long time, but now it's sanctioned, and it's all sanctioned because of Dave Feldman. Dave Feldman is the one who went out and he got the boxing commission to agree to sanction it. It's not sanctioned in all 50 states. It's sanctioned in like 4 states, but it's a start. So yeah, hats off to Dave Feldman and BKFC. What they've done is literally amazing to get bare knuckle boxing going. It is the most extreme fighting allowed by law, most exciting for sure.
Yeah, and it's doing nothing but growing. I mean, just like we've seen MMA and UFC, you know, grow from where it was. That BK's taking over. Maybe that's something we bring to Illinois. Get some bare knuckle.
I personally like the bare knuckle.
Yeah, we do that, but we need to bring Ragnarok.
Yes.
Let's bring
That
Ragnarok
would be
over
awesome.
All right, we're gonna figure something out.
I know. I think that would be awesome to have him here in Illinois.
here. Absolutely.
And you seem like you really like that promotion. So hey.
No, I love that promotion. That promotion, literally, I fought in a couple promotions, some big, some small. One was Pride, and I was a main event in Pride. I fought 3 different times in Pride in Japan. Some of the best fans, but I'll tell you, that promotion took great care of me. No other promotion has taken care of me as good as Pride, except for Ragnarok. Ragnarok is, I'm telling you, man, they treat you right. Ragnarok is the guys.
I have to agree with you. A really good promotion is hard to find.
It is. It's hard. Look,
and
if a promoter just does what he says he's going to do, then it's a great show. So many times promoters, they don't do what they're going to say they're going to do. They lie to the fighters. They don't pay them. I can tell you so many times I go fight and then the check bounced. I can tell you so many times I went to go fight a guy and the guy backed out and they gave me some other guy. I got horror stories, but I also have some good stories too. But there's so many. Everybody wants to be a promoter until you become one.
Mm-hmm. See, I'm the caring, empathetic type person. I'd like to know everybody who's going to be on my fight card. I want to know you by name. I want to personally meet you and give you a handshake. Like, because I mean, obviously, the promotion wouldn't exist without these fighters. I mean, there wouldn't be fans without the fighters, right?
Absolutely, 100%. That's what I said. Everybody. I mean, it's nice to be important, but most important to be nice. If a fan comes up to you and they ask you for an autograph, sign a dingum autograph. Don't charge them. If a fan wants a picture,
that'd be $20.
Take the picture. I mean, if you're an autograph signing at the UFC, they do the UFC fight week and obviously the Hall of Fame, and everyone knows. Okay, you're going to go there and you're going to take a picture and you're going to get you have to pay for that. But if you just catch a guy on the side of the street or at a restaurant or whatever, sign the picture. Take a picture with the fans. I mean, if it wasn't for fans, it would be nothing. We would be nothing. Yeah. It's all about the fans.
You'll make his day or his week, and obviously him asking for an autograph, he sees you as someone above just a regular person, you know what I'm saying? So take advantage of it. Shit. Take your platform, take a picture, sign it, make his day, because he's gonna go back while he was sitting down with some friends or whatever and go, oh my God, I just fucking do you know who that was? No, what the fuck? So yeah, like you said, a lot of times you see it on both sides. I see people walking down. I've seen Kobe a couple times. Like he walked past a person and they yelled at him and he ended up turning around and like the people that were kind of like walking with him were like, no. And he was like, move out the way. I'm going to sign something. You made that kid's day. And then there's other people that they act like they don't even see the fans. But like you said, without the fans, you still have your passion, but we make it fun for you guys. We give that fire. We're yelling and screaming. We're at home. I'm ready to punch the TV. So
who's your favorite fighter
of all time?
All time.
Oh, nice. Shit. Favorite fighter in the I got a couple, but I like the Diaz brothers, man, to be honest.
Diaz brothers. I like it. Nice.
Yeah.
I like, because fighting's not a classy sport. You can, you still can be respectful, but they're the type, like, I'm not trying to shake your hand before I fight. You know, I'm trying to smash your head in. But after every fight, you do see them grab their opponent and they do say what talk. But yeah, probably that. What about you?
Technical fighter George St. Pierre and Khabib. Technical, just pure grit, pure American badass. Don the Predator Fry.
He's got a couple of the scariest fights. I mean, But you said GSP and Khabib.
As technical guys. I mean, both guys can wrestle, both guys can strike, both guys can defend the takedown. Yeah, man, it's.
Let's end the debate. Who's winning? If they could link up at a catch weight, they're both in their prime.
I say Khabib.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean, look, no one can beat Khabib's wrestling. His wrestling is dominant. His Russian background, the wrestling that he does is such a high level. No one has figured it out yet. So once somebody can figure out the way the Russians wrestle, like Khabib and his group, then it will be okay. But right now, no one has figured out what they do. And if you watch it, it's all about wrist control. Those guys control the wrists, and nobody's caught on to that yet.
Once they get you down, they smother you, and
they wrist control like crazy.
But I do think though, if someone could, GSP's in the questions, right? Yeah. And if someone now, like fighting right now, after I see another fight, maybe Michael Chandler, his wrestling is top notch, and he has like Usman as a training partner, and Usman's got ground game similar to Khabib.
Michael Chandler is one of my favorite fighters, actually. So yeah,
people doubted him, but look what he did. Man, look what he did, and he's fighting for that belt.
Who doubted him? Nobody doubted him.
Frank Mir's doing a boxing fight.
Yeah, Frank Mir and Forrest Griffin.
Forrest Griffin, OG of the sport. One of the OGs to kind of evolve it into the next stage.
Yeah, Steve just said he likes those two guys. Yeah, Frank Mir. That's gonna be interesting.
What about like an old school fighter of your favorites? You kind of named two more recent ones. Oh, there, right there.
Hi, Stitch. How are you?
All right, thank you for having me on.
Hey, what's going on, Stitch?
What's up, my man?
How you doing, brother?
I'm just on lockdown, but living the life.
I hear you, man. Living the life. Yeah. Last time I saw Stitch, it was in Cancun at BKFC 4. I just finished knocking out a guy, winning a belt. And I got it. I came up, got a picture with Stitch. He was kind enough to take a picture with me, man. Big shout out, because I'm a huge fan.
Man, I appreciate it. Yeah, man. I stayed a couple extra days so I could go do some snorkeling and enjoy the beaches. And we hung out with this one guy that fought, and he ended up freaking out. And anyway, bottom line, never saw the beaches, never saw the water. And
oh my goodness!
He's taking care of this guy, but so it is good seeing you, my man.
Yeah, you too, my man. Best of luck.
Shannon's got a fight coming up, Stitch.
I know it.
Yeah, June 4th or June 5th in Norway.
Yeah. Oh, good.
Yeah, Ragnarok, bare knuckle title fight.
You know what? I became a big fan of bare knuckle fighting when Dave Feldman first called me when they did the first show in Cheyenne, Wyoming. I went for one reason and one reason only, to see the safety factor on how they were taking care of these fighters. And, myself and of course, Dave Feldman and his group and Dan Margliotti and Bill Clancy, we all met with the commission there and we adjusted the rules based on our experience on how to take care of the fighters. But I think they do a great job, man. I hope they do a good job up in Norway also.
Yeah, I think they are, man. They everybody's looking at what you guys have done, and they're trying to copy it, mimic it, and keep the fighter safe. That's the number one thing: fighter safety.
Yeah,
and what I always tell people is bare knuckle fighters. I said boxers and MMA, their game is here. Bare knuckle fighters is up here because it's entirely a different world,
different sport.
When it comes to fighting, there's technique and but a ton of heart and soul and nicest guys in the world, man. So it's a pleasure working with you guys.
Yeah. Hey guys, I'm gonna have to go. I'm gonna let you guys hit it off with Stitch. Stitch, it was nice seeing you. I appreciate the kind words.
Yes, sir.
And guys,
before you go, hon, can you please let everybody know how they can follow you and find you?
It's just at Shannon RITCH MMA at Shannon Ritch MMA or CannonBJJ.net. Yeah, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter.
Awesome. And it's RITCH.
Yep, RITCH. Shannon RITCH at MMA.
Thank you so much, Shannon, for coming on. I'm looking forward to having you on again.
Okay, guys, we'll see you later.
We'll be
Have a
seeing
great
you,
night,
brother.
Stitch.
Bye,
Yeah.
Shannon. Hey, Stitch, I'm so excited and so honored to have you on. I have been wanting to like see your face for the longest time, other than on TV or at a show. I've seen you a couple of times, but I'm like, you just never have time to like say anything, and I can't get over to you. So it is such an honor to have you on. And you finally get to meet me too, because I think I started in combat sports a little over 10 years ago. And that was pretty exciting for me. I mean, I was a female in a male-dominated industry, so it was kind of intimidating a little bit. Now we see a lot of women doing a lot of different things between cut women and corner women, and it's so exciting to see. But Stitch, tell A2D Radio exactly who you are and what you do.
Well, I'm a cut man, by trade, actually. That's usually my forte, but I've written a couple books, From the Fields to the Garden, growing up as a farm worker and then making it to Madison Square Garden. And now they're working on the documentary on that. But been in like 7 movies, playing myself, 3 with Sylvester Stallone and, Ocean's 11, and 1 with Kevin James and Woody Harrelson and just a whole bunch of people. But, I love the game, combat sports, and I'm doing them all. And like I say, talking to Shannon right there, that it's great working with them one-on-one.
I'm going to bring up our poll question real quick there, Stitch.
Sure.
Should there be a cut-off age for combat sports? So should there be a cut-off age? If you're 50, you should be not fighting anymore? Or what do you think about? Do you agree or disagree?
Yeah, well, I think to an extent, and one of the old adages is you can beat anything, but you can't beat time. And that's why it's important to have a not so much the age, but have a good team that recognizes what you have and what you had and what you're going to give in the future, and then take care of them. Unfortunately, if you depend on the fighter themselves, their heart and soul is going to tell them that they have one more fight. You're talking about Forrest Griffith and Frank Mir, and that's an exhibition, which is a little bit different because it's within what they do anyway. And I've worked them all. I've done all these social media events, and Jake Paul knocks a guy out, but Frank Mir and Forrest Griffith, these kind of guys, they'll do it for the entertainment purpose.
Yeah, like I said, they got that fighter mentality. They don't want to hang it up. Some are nervous about what's next. I'm good at this. I don't know where to go. So yeah, it's kind of hard because then you got Shannon that we were just talking to, and he's 50 and bare knuckle champion, feels great. Still can compete with all these younger cats. So, the question's a sticky one. It's a tough one to answer.
Yeah, it is, and the thing about it, the bottom line is, this combat sports is Eddie Mustafa Muhammad, a legendary boxer. He says the ultimate goal of a fighter is to render his opponent unconscious, which is the knockout. And usually, with those type of knockouts, you look at long-term damages, the dementia pugilistica, and just everything that goes with being hit in the head a whole bunch of times, win or lose. So age does have a factor, and you brought up a good point: is these guys don't know when enough is enough. But yeah, bottom line is got to try to take care of these guys.
I am excited because I've watched you over a period of time. And of course, I saw you on my TV last night. I forgot what movie it was. You were in the movie with Boss, and it was on my TV. And I was like, "That's Stitch. He's going to be on my show tomorrow."
Probably one with Kevin James then.
Yes. I think it was Here Comes the Boom. Yes. How fun was that movie?
It was tremendous, man. And I'll give you a little behind the scenes story to that cameo that I had. Right. Whenever you do movies, if you have a line, then you get residuals. So as often as they show the movie in theaters and throughout the world and wherever they're showing it, they get paid for that. And being that, you're the SAG and all that, you get residuals. So I didn't have a line, and I'm thinking, bullshit, I got to think of something. Right. So, Boss Bruton is there and Michael, everybody's there. Right. But I'm thinking I got to think of something before I even get there. And we're in Lowell, Massachusetts. We're staying in Boston. But when it was time for me to do my scene with Kevin James, Kevin pulls me aside and says, Stitch, we got to have you say something. And I thought that was so admirable of him because it's going to cost some money. But I thought, I'm playing the dumb guy. And I said, well, here's what I tell the fighters is, welcome to the UFC. Oh, yeah, that's great. So during that scene, and you guys just saw it, they'll call me in and Stitch, I can't believe you're working on me. Big fan of what we're having. And so I'm working on him. And then right at the end, I slap him and I say, hey, welcome to the UFC. And everybody started laughing because they didn't know that I was going to slap him. And it was a one take, so
nice.
See, there is just a little.
Did a little improvising or whatever. Yeah.
But that's what I tell the guys, bam, put the Vaseline on them, you give them that little love tap, but I did that to Kevin. I didn't want to tell him because I didn't want him to flinch or anything like that. So
hey, so quick question. What was your favorite acting role?
God, that's I don't know. I mean, I've had individual events with individual guys. The first one I did with Woody Harrelson and Antonio Banderas, Play It to the Bone. And I wanted to be the cut man for Antonio Banderas because I'm Latino and he's not Latino. But if you guys remember going years back, Chuck Bodak was a legendary cut man that looked like Colonel Sanders that would put the tape on his fighter's head, pictures. And he worked with Julio Cesar Chavez and De La Hoya. Well, him and I were the cut men. And when we went during the scene to meet the two fighters, Woody Harrelson and Antonio Banderas, Chuck Bodak gets in front of me and Antonio Banderas, so he ended up being his cut man. But during the movie, I ended up getting all the work where, they're saying, you got the best. He's telling Woody Harrelson, whatever, you got the best cut man in the business. So Chuck Bodak at the end is saying, hey, man, you're lucky you got all the cuts. Well, shit, you're the one who cut me off. But in doing that one scene with Woody Harrelson is a great athlete, by the way, but he got frustrated and they called cut. So he starts, this is at the Mandalay Bay here in Las Vegas, and he starts walking outside of the arena by himself. And my first movie, and I yell out, I said, hey, Woody, if you need help, I'll help you. And then I thought, these guys they're Hollywood. So maybe I overstepped my boundaries. But he said, no, come on, Stitch. So him and I went outside and I just told him, I said, look, man, you got to get your rotation. You got to do this and this and that. And, we had what they call a rap party at the end. And he had a 8x10 that we took together and he signed it. Stitch, thanks for all your help. You're so cool, Woody Harrelson. So a lot of good moments. Working with Stallone, 3 movies was Michael B. Jordan. Working with him. He's directing Creed 3, and he had told me that when we were doing Creed 2, like 3 years ago, I told him how proud I was of him, of his accomplishments. And he said, Stitch, we went from being actors to writers and producers and directors. And he says, I'm directing Creed 3 and you're with me as long as you want. Well, that announcement just came out, I think last week or the week before. So hopefully he'll call me.
You better jump on that.
He'll call you.
The next week, yeah.
I would call you.
That's the fun part. But, it's more of the legacy that I'm doing. I mean, you name one person that's done 3 movies with Sylvester Stallone, and then to be Michael B. Jordan's cut man in the movie, to me, it's just, like I told Stallone, because we shot six weeks in Philadelphia for both Creed 1 and Creed 2. And on the first one, I said, I can't sleep at nights, and he said, what's wrong? So I'm in my room and I'm thinking, wow, what am I doing here? Stallone, Ryan Coogler, Michael B. Jordan. I'm in the Creed. He said, nah, you earned it. That's right on, And then one more story, man, I got to throw you. Movie Creed, once again, I'm looking at the script and my name is Marcel. I said, shit, I don't know anybody named Marcel. So once again, I'm thinking, how am I going to do it? But Sylvester Stallone being a master of what he does, when it was the time where he's introducing us to Adonis, the team, he says, oh, this is Stitch. He's the best cut man in Philadelphia. And man, when he said that, deep inside, my heart just pounded because, who's going to tell Sylvester Stallone, cut? Nah, his name is Marcel.
Yeah.
But the next day I thanked him and he says, nah, it has to be authentic. So, those moments like that, working with great fighters and even, actors and all that, it's been a blessing in things that I'm doing.
So now everybody's going to wonder, how did you get your spotlight? How did you get into the movies? How did they find you?
They just called me. I swear it's the face. I'm not going to deny it. It's
Got that money maker.
yeah.
But yeah, they called you. You said.
Yeah, it's a skill level. With the first one with Woody Harrelson and Antonio Banderas, they called me to go do an audition. That's been the only audition I've ever done. So I went and did the audition. I got the part. But Ocean's 11, they brought me in to be Klitschko's Cutman, and I worked with him for 12 years. Him and his brother, and then Kevin James with Here Comes the Boom. I'm doing a UFC at the MGM. And guy wants to take a picture with me. And I said, yeah, come on, let's do one together. He goes, no, I want a picture of you by yourself. Kevin James wants you to be in the movie. And it was Frank Coraci, the director. And yeah, so that's how I hooked up with them. And with Balboa, when Rocky fought his last fight, Joe Cortez, the referee, famous referee, called me. And that time I told him I couldn't do it because I had a world title fight in Paris. And then the next week I had a big fight in London, and economics. I told him no, and I called my wife at work and said, I got offered a job and with to do Balboa, but I can't do it because I got to go to Paris and London. She goes, "Are you crazy? It's American Icon.
Rocky, you don't pass up Rocky."
I didn't know, bro. It was about paying the bills, right? And
I love your wife. That's awesome.
hard, I'm telling you, and it turns out that the championship fight in Paris got scratched. It got canceled, and then as after I spoke to her, I'm on the computer negotiating with the people in London about flights and when I get there and how much, and I thought about it for about 30 seconds, and I just pressed delete, and I let them know that between our last conversation and now, I got an offer to be in this movie, and they understood, and so yeah, so I've been shit just happens, I've been blessed.
There's another audience question. Well, Steve. So, it just went away. Can you read it, Dustin?
Stories. When is the next episode with Stories with Stitch?
Well, you're listening to it right now.
Yeah. Cool. I got one for you, brother. So you've done Cutman, all that work probably longer than I've been living. But when you were younger, you wanted to do the medical field? You knew that's where you wanted to go, or?
Nah, brother. I only got a high school diploma, man. Let me tell you about my history. You got to get my book, first of all. It's at Amazon. It's called From the Fields to the Garden. I did
to the Garden. All right.
Yeah, after the UFC let me go, I did too because everybody wanted me to continue. But I grew up as a farm worker in the Central Valley of California. I was born and raised in a migrant camp, and my address on my birth certificate is CPC number 12 for the California Packing Company. So that was my whole life till I joined the military in 1972, and in 1974, they stationed me in Thailand, and I didn't know what Thailand was, but I knew I wanted to study the martial arts if I went to the Orient. And I saw my first Muay Thai fight and got hooked on that, and that's what got me to this level. I started off there that whole year. I just trained and opened up my own school of kickboxing, and so yeah, I've been blessed with just having all this stuff. But yeah, it's 30-something years I've been doing it.
Thank you for your service, Stitch.
No, it was a pleasure. And like I said, I grew up as a farmer, right? So I was as naive as could be. I mean, I was as dumb. I was like Jethro Bodine in the Beverly Hillbillies. I was going to go in the Air Force with a friend of mine, and he cheesed up like the last week because he was going to get married. And so I went by myself, and I lived 2 hours from Oakland, California. So I took a bus to Oakland and got there like 2 a.m, and I had to walk to a hotel. And first time I ever been in a big city. And this guy comes up to me and he says, "Hey man, look, I'm not going to lie to you." He goes, "I'm with Huey Newton." There was Black Panthers at that time. "And I got to get out of town. And do you have any money I could have?" So I gave him $5, and like a dummy, I thought, what an idiot, So from there I grew. And I said, don't be as dumb as I was then, So I've had a good history. Thanks.
Oh, well, see, they're making requests that we need a regular Stitch series show. I like it.
No, it's I've been blessed with everything that's happened, and I'm just still that little farm worker kid that grew up as a farm worker and, followed his dreams. And, I'll go back when I did the Creeds, they gave me like 100 tickets, and I invited people I grew up with in the farms, and and I put a boxing program together. The school gave us a bus, and we all watched Creed in our own theater. So
Oh my God, that's
all farm
amazing.
workers. They're all low income people, and they're all for the most part Mexicans. So I always give back.
There you go.
I love Mexico. I went to Puerto Vallarta. I'm not very good with it, but I went there a couple of years ago, and it was so pretty, and everybody was so nice. I'm just assuming they probably are nice because we're tourists, but everybody was super nice, and what a beautiful beach, and it was just really beautiful. And I went actually into town because I wanted to see about the culture and to see these massive iguanas in the trees. I mean, we're not talking little iguanas, we're talking big ones in the trees, and they were not nice.
That's like a normal thing for you guys.
Yeah. But it's absolutely beautiful there, and the culture it's just so intriguing. And I had some Mexican chocolates, and I had there was a woman who was hand stitching something. I got my dress from there, a real Mexican hand knitted dress, and it's gorgeous. I love the culture there.
Yeah, and Thailand was a lot like Mexico. That's why I kind of felt at home. People very nice and very humble, and so yeah, it was a great experience for me. And that move, joining the military, just kind of changed my life. But yeah, getting back to the medical field, I walked on to a college that was 9 miles away from my town. I was good at baseball, American baseball, and I always wanted to become a pro. And but I didn't have a car, so I would ride with friends from Planada to Merced, and after school they would leave, and I would stay and practice with the team, and I would have to hitchhike going back home, and I did that for a while. And being naive, I didn't know about grants and scholarships, and I just went to the recruiter and joined the military and left. And a friend of mine ended up pitching for the Houston Astros, and I went to go see him play in San Francisco against the Giants, and he said, "Hey man, where'd you go?" I said, "Hey, I left." I said, but I knew I was going to be a pro in something. I just definitely didn't know I was going to be a pro in this.
So you were a competitor before you started stuff. So I mean, did you do any fights? Were you competing before you did? Were you a cutman? Obviously you did baseball and stuff like that. So you were a competitor before took that back step and kind of helped out, the athletes.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, the guy that got me into boxing from Oakland, also, he was in town yesterday, and he just left this morning. But yeah, when I studied that full year in Thailand, they had very few fights for the GIs, the Americans. So I did the karate tournaments and beat the crap out of everybody. And I got back to the States, and I did a tournament when I was in South Dakota, stationed there. And I think I did 3 fights, and I did them all with 3 kicks, and that was it. And one guy says, "Hey man, you're kicking too hard," because in karate it's all points. And I was slamming them with leg kicks and body shots. And
no such thing as too hard. No such thing.
I was used to power shots, and then I got into boxing, and Pete Alvarado that just left today, he's the one that got me into boxing and as a coach. So then I had my own school of kickboxing, that ASK, American School of Kickboxing, and I opened it up with just a credit card, and Scott Coker that runs Bellator now.
Yes.
We used to fight under his cards in San Jose. And that's so I've known Scott for 30 something years. Have you met?
A good job.
Yeah.
Have you? I worked with him when he was a world champ kickboxer. So, got a long history.
Oh, I didn't know that. I didn't know that he. Okay.
Yeah. Javier was a bad boy in his days, but he was like 175 pounds.
Okay. I'm gonna have to. I'll have to do my research on him. I didn't realize that, but I know he's doing big things. He's really doing good with Bellator and everything. So yeah.
What are some of your R&R time, like just rest time? Do you ever have rest time where you absolutely no phone,
you're just no such
time?
Thing. No such thing.
No, I pretty much work on a 24-hour clock. My wife gets pissed off at me. I've gotten to the point where I mute the phone now when I go to bed because I'd get calls from Europe and all that. And so out of respect to her, I mute it and go through everything in the morning. And but yeah, rest. I'm a family man. I'm not a big spender. I don't go out partying, and that's just not my nature. And everything that I do it for my accomplishments. And so my family and even the people I grew up with are proud of what I do, and everything that I make, it all goes into the household, and so I'm very simple, that's what it blows my mind. And, people said, "Oh, Stitch, you're a legend," and this and that kind of embarrasses me a little bit because I'm like you guys, I'm just a down to earth guy that's good at what I do.
Yeah. I love it. That's why you are like one of my favorites. And I was hoping I'd have this moment in time. And oh my God, and I'm so excited. What are some of like the biggest accomplishments you feel you've I'm sure you've gone through some hills and some valleys. It wasn't all rainbows and,
sunshine and rainbows, like Rocky, right?
How did you overcome some of those hills? How did you get to your end goal and accomplishments?
Yeah, it's been a road, no doubt about it. But it's been more fun than it has been tragic, But like I said, I had my own school of kickboxing, so I trained a lot of world-class kickboxers. Dennis Alexio, you remember the movie Kickboxer with Jean?
Yes.
And Dennis is the brother in the wheelchair. He was an actual kickboxer, and until I met MMA guys, was probably the best athlete I ever met in my life. Tremendous athlete. They retired his number in high school for football and baseball. He was that good. And so I went through that transition, and I remember I was learning to be a cut man, and I went to a boxing event in Richmond, California, and this one guy in one of the earlier fights did a good job on the cuts, and I went over there and I said, "Hey, you did a good job on the cuts. I'm trying to learn to be a cut man. Can you tell me what you did?" And that time it was only boxing. And he looks at me and says, "Fuck you." He goes, "I'm taking this to my grave, and you got to learn just like me." And he walked away, and I felt about this big. And, I said, I'm never going to be like that, man. So you're talking about accomplishments. I think one of my accomplishments because of that, well, I'm a martial artist first and foremost, is our job is always to teach, right? But he just kind of signified that I don't want to be like this guy. So one of my acknowledgments or accomplishments is that I do teach, and I teach people how to take care of fighters, because the way I look at it is a coach will show a fighter how to fight, but nobody shows the coach how to take care of the fighter. And that's my commitment. So that's, my big accomplishment, but just everything that has happened. I mean, God, I could, give me a fighter and I'll probably tell you a solid story with him.
But real quick, shout out to that man that says screw you, because shit, look at you now. Yes. Yeah. I mean, that gave you felt little, but gave you some fire in your belly or something,
Yeah, well, and here's where the payback's a bitch, right? So I'm working with Andre Ward from Oakland, and I was in Oakland, and I knew him since he was a kid, and he was fighting in Oakland.
Boxing?
Well, I see him, and he forgot about that whole moment. I never did. And I've told this interview hundreds of times, but I've never thrown his name out because it's not important. But when weigh-ins for Andre Ward's fight, who wants to take a picture is him and his son. And, and sure enough, I got my hands around him, and, I'm thinking, I won this battle, bro. You don't realize how much you just confirmed what I should be doing in this game. And the reason why, I always spend time with people and fans and treat them as they're my friends is, I don't know, Randall Cunningham used to be a quarterback for the Philadelphia Eagles, and he lives here in Las Vegas. So before, and I've been in Vegas 26 years. And before I moved there, I came here for some fights, and we're at an after fight party. And at that point, I'm still Jacob. I'm not even Stitch. And my three brothers and me, we're talking to Randall Cunningham, and one of Don King's guys comes up to him and says, "Hey, Randall, I need to talk to you." He says, "Hold on, let me finish talking to these guys." Ooh. Man, I never felt so important in my life. And he's a pastor here in Las Vegas, and I've never met him, but when I do see him again, I'm going to relay that story to him that, that's how you take care of people. That's how you respect people, no matter who they are or what they are. And so those are two lessons I've learned.
Yeah, especially you got Don King coming up to you and you say, hold on, let me finish.
Wait a minute.
That, like you said, that earns a different level of respect. I'm like, okay, see, that's who I want to be like. That's the type of shit. That's, that take another minute or two, finish the conversation. I'll be right there, So, I like that.
100%, bro. That's, you said it right then and there. You know, it's those little moments mean a lot. You know, and I understand. You know, because I'm one of them. You know, I've been right. So yeah. So it's nice just to go ahead and spread the love.
So bringing it back real quick, you kind of answered it earlier. If you weren't doing Cutman, you were what? Going to be a baseball player?
Well, that would have been God's choice on that. That would have been my first choice. You know. But yeah, you know, it's just, I don't know. You know, I mean, when I was working, I worked with R.J. Reynolds Tobacco Company, the company that made the Winston Salems and Camels, and that's where I got my sales and marketing experience. I did that for like 25 years. And matter of fact, when I got a job transfer to come to Las Vegas, and I waited for a while, and they were downsizing, and at that point, I knew it was going to happen because they were downsizing. And when they called me, they gave me a week to make the move to Vegas, and I couldn't do it in a week. And I talked him into 2 weeks, and in 2 weeks, I transferred my school to one of my students. I sold my house. I put my family in a U-Haul, and I drove 9 hours to Las Vegas, and I took a secondary position that cost me about $25,000 a year. So was I crazy? Yeah. My wife supported me. My kids supported me, and now Mama don't work. So I've been blessed.
Hey, the risk was worth it, buddy.
Worth it.
It really was.
Sometimes there's a really big reward at the end.
Well, that's a good point. And, you know, I always tell people, and we've all been there. I know all three of you guys have been in that same boat where you have that one line and you question yourself, should you cross it or not?
Yes.
But people, you'll never get there if you don't cross it, you know, and, you know, as long as you know it can't kick your ass, do it, you know, so go
no
for
fear, no fear.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yep.
Yeah, I have to say you are just the icon of all icons. And to hear how humbling like your story is and where you came from, like, and you're still humble. I love it. And I always, when I was marketing and promoting fighters when I first started, I told them, I said, it doesn't matter how many people are following you, doesn't matter how many title fights you have, always be humble and remember where you came from.
Yeah, there was, you know, those little moments, like I say, with a fan. You know, I mean, there was one guy from Australia after one of the weigh-ins. This was a big boxing event. You know, we had the temporary press credentials, and he wants to take a picture, and it's his birthday and all that. So I said, you know, I'm done with it. I signed it for him, and I gave it to him, and I saw him years later, and he remembered that moment. You know, and, so you know, little things like that go a long ways. I understand.
Yeah. To add to that, like I said, I've met you a bunch of times on TV. You just haven't met me. I've seen you a million times, brother. So for you to sit here and just, you know, to kick it and bullshit with us, like I said, it hits me a different way. I told my girl before I left, I'm like, baby, I'm about to do a podcast with Stitch, and she looked at me like, what? I'm like, baby, it's Stitch. We've seen him on TV, baby. And she's like, I don't know. So, like I said, it really does. Someone that you look up to, and like I said, you're a Cutman, and I don't see myself being a Cutman, but I can still look up to you in how you handle yourself. And I'm all about fighter safety. I do my fighting and shit. So, like I said, you know, you have a job that kind of like Burt Watson. We had him earlier on here. You guys have jobs that are kind of like overseen. Like you don't really see it much, but without you guys, you're the backbone, you know. So everyone's got their part. You got an important job, and you don't do it for the fame, even though you're well known and you're the OG and whatnot. You know, you're in it for a passion. You definitely enjoy what you do, and we all see it. It shows.
Yeah, well, you know, that number one word you said is passion. And you know, you being a fighter, yeah, you don't do it because you love the pain. You do it because you have the passion, right? And you're right. But let me add to your training regiment, and you could probably attest to this. Years ago, I interviewed Mike Tyson, like a week before he got his tattoo. But I asked Mike, and I said, you know, every fighter has that one little thing that nobody in the world has. What's that one little thing that a fighter has? And very simply, Mike Tyson says, take the pain. You have to take the pain. And as I thought about it, as I'm driving away, I thought, you know, he's absolutely right, because you get pain through training, you get pain in the fights, you get pain in your personal life, you have pain in your financials. So, you know, to be a fighter, you don't do it to get rich. You do it because you have a passion for it. The richness comes through your success.
Amen. Amen to that.
So I understand. That's why you got to, whether you're a 4-rounder, making a pro debut, whether you're a champion, I'm going to treat you, bro, just like you're a champion. And I tell all these young guys when I work with them for the first time, I said, look, the reason I want you to, I'm working with you, not only in charge of young ones. The reason I want to show you the importance of having a good corner, having a good team, and educate them, and because this is a hurt business, bro.
That could be the next John Jones and stuff too. Like you guys will be at that level. So yeah, I'm gonna treat you like you're a professional. Everyone the same and everything. Because like I said, the goals are the same to get to the elite. Elite. So yeah, that's what's up, man.
Yeah, and then you guys deserve it. Plain and simple. Why get second rate stuff if you could get first rate? And and it's for your safety.
Casey, who were some of your favorite promotions you've worked for?
Oh, I've done them all. God, they're all good. It's not the promotion because they've all been real good to me. It's more of the fighters, the ones that I've worked with and the moments that we've shared together. Got a ton of them, man. I've been blessed with the best of the best of the best, and all sports, combat sports. There's kickboxing, bare knuckle fights, MMA, boxing. I've worked with the best of the best. So it's about stories with each one of these guys. And it's funny you bring that up because I don't know if you guys know Bobby Razak. Bobby
Razak,
yes, term documentary. He's doing all the tap out.
Yes,
very very top shot and
very talented.
Yeah, very. So they're doing a documentary on MMA and they interviewed Josh Barnett and Kenny Florian. And these are two guys that I've worked with, and my daughter's part of the production, and she puts us on FaceTime, and we're like little kids. Oh, man, I love you, and these guys are men, but I understand when they tell me they love me, and when I tell them I love them because there's that one bond that we've all had together. And
you show respect, and you got it back, and you guys, right.
Yeah, you understand, yeah.
I was going to ask that. Do you still talk to a lot of these fighters, weekly, or they still reach out to you, ask you for advice or things like that? You still?
No, not so much. God, I haven't done an MMA show since this pandemic kicked. I've been doing all boxing, but I'll run into some guys every once in a while. Just like Josh Barnett and Kenny Florian on FaceTime. Those are great moments. But I remember before this pandemic, they had I don't know what it's called, big old grappling event at Red Rock Casino, and all these old ex-UFC guys are there. And so my daughter talked me into going, and I go to the back, and it was like a big giant family reunion. Almost kind of made me want to cry. All these guys come in.
I can imagine. Good time. Yeah. Like I said.
Love and just it was pretty awesome.
You invest time when with your job with these fighters. I mean, you grow to know them. That's just the name of the game, and you want to be as good as you are. Yeah, you know these fighters. Not that you know every movement, but you know them good enough, and some of them you probably know their kids on a name basis. Or they're so yeah. It's definitely you make bonds in this fight industry. As bloody as it can be, you lot out of it. You can get a lot of good stuff.
Well, and that's a good point. Here's where the bond comes in because it's not so much knowing their families and all that. Nah, it's more of I'm there during your points of going into battle. Like Frank Mir says. Frank Mir said in a quote, he says, "When I see Stitch walking into the dressing room, my stomach just drops because I know it's time to fight." And these guys know that I was there to protect them. And I was telling you, I've been doing these top rank fights in the bubble, and one of the events had a Brazilian fighter, a boxer. And one of the coaches was Andres that trains a lot of the top Brazilian fighters. And we're having lunch and he says, Steve, we, the fighters, we, the coaches, the trainers, we have so much respect for you because you spoke up for us when we couldn't speak up. And that was that moment with the UFC. And, and this has been 5-6 years and these people still remember those moments, but, that's an honor in itself to be recognized like that.
And I have to say, when I first heard about the UFC issue, I was really shocked because I didn't feel that was a good plan on their part. And I wasn't there, but I mean, I was heartbroken. I was like, what are you talking about? What?
Yeah.
What do you mean Stitch is not going to be there anymore? But you handled it so well. And I commend you for taking a stand for how you believe. I mean, what you believe in. And there should be no repercussions on that. I mean, I think you did a great job. And yeah, I was heartbroken. But now look, you've gone so much farther than you just get blessed every time.
I do. Yeah. People have asked me because, they don't want to bring this story up. And I know they want to, but they don't, they're scared. But hey, listen, I ain't got nothing to hide. I don't mind telling you the stories. Right. So, but people are always asking me and they say, well, have you spoken to Dana? I said, nah, well, what happens if you see him? I said, shit, I'll go shake his hand and I'll say, thanks for letting me go, man. Cause it's the best thing ever happened to me.
Yeah.
But let me give you a little of the insight of what happened is, yeah, I spoke up during those moments. Because what happened, of course, we'll go from square one because I'm sure everybody wants to know is we were all working on sponsors. Me as a cut man, fighters were making money. A lot of fighters are making more money through sponsors than they were with Reebok deal was giving them, right? I was making a lot more money. I needed the UFC to make my money for sponsors. So anyway, they go and they don't give anybody any options. They just go exclusive with Reebok and well, the story. Fighters lose all their sponsors and according to the amount of fights and that they have with the UFC. But they called all the cutmen together and they bought us breakfast, thank God. And then they says, you guys can't have any more sponsors and what have you not. And so, I kind of bitched about it because I represented all the cutmen. Whenever, let's say, Bad Boy or One More Round or all these people would come up to me and tap out and sponsor me, I would negotiate for these other cutmen and get them, sponsorship. So when that stopped, I just knew I couldn't continue working for what I was getting paid as a cutman for the UFC. And, it's a shame that the ring girls probably getting paid more than the cutmen in the UFC. And you're talking about who's important in the actual fights.
Yes.
So John Nash called me, and I've never met him from BloodyElbow.com. And he asked if I'd be interested in doing an interview on how the Reebok deal affected the cutmen. So I thought about it, and then I go back to the days of me being a farm worker, when my parents during the Cesar Chavez movement, where they were fighting for unfair practices. They didn't have no unions, and working in the fields, my mom and sister would have to go down the rows or behind orchards and go to the restroom, and we're drinking water out of the same tin bucket, the same tin cup, and dirt and pesticides. And so those moments my parents fought for, and I thought about it and I said, if I don't speak up, my parents would be ashamed of me. Plus I'd do it anyway because that's my nature. And the interview was very politically correct. I understand because I work corporate America, but it went viral, and I'm getting calls from all over the world and this and that. And my wife and I are at Costco shopping, and I get a call from a friend of mine that, we're all friends in the UFC. And he asked if I had time to talk, and I kind of knew what it was. Because, I'm just, everything. My phone is going crazy and everything. And I said, no, I'll be home in an hour. And I'm here in the same room I'm at now, and I get a call, and my other friend calls me, and we're all friends. Mark called me and says, and his voice is cracking. And he says, because of the interview you did about Reebok, the UFC is not going to use you anymore. And it was just kind of, I said, all right. I said, Mark, okay, I understand. I didn't want to bust him. I said, do me a favor. As you tell Dana, I said, he ain't got no balls, that he should have called me personally, since he's the one that brought me in. And he's the one that brought me in. So I'm getting tons and tons of messages. And the first text that I read, I reply back to the guy and I say, I just want you to know, you'll be the first to know that UFC just let me go about speaking out about the Reebok deal. Now I got to look for another job. And that went viral. Damn, all over. I did like 57 interviews in a week. I had camera crews come.
Yes, I remember. You're busy.
I had job offers from all over the world, and it was insane. And
I could imagine. Yeah,
it was crazy. And there's a friend of mine, Robbie, that lives here that has Motivational Mondays, and I'm here after hearing that story and letting me go, and I'm listening to what he said about, today's motivation is about a friend of mine, Duran, who spoke up about what he thought was right, and he got let go by the UFC, and man, I started crying. So much that was being given to me, and my wife walks in and she starts crying, and but just boy and Uriah Favor, their companies offered to make me T-shirts, and proceeds go to me, and just it was overwhelming, and that's how I ended up with Bellator. Knowing Scott, I ended up working with him, but yeah, so it's the best thing ever happened to me, and people still stop me throughout the world and bring up those moments. When I did the first Creed, I'm at the after movie party, and Wesley Snipes comes up to me and puts his hand down, takes my hand, and he says, "Hey, man, the UFC did you bad." "Hey, Woody, how you doing? Nice meeting you." So I knew at that point Hollywood knew about it. So yeah, I always speak up for what's right.
Amen to that.
I wish we would have more people take a stand and speak, especially with what all is going on right now. It's kind of crazy.
Do you think you and Dana will ever come to a common ground?
We're in common ground now, bro.
I was gonna say, it doesn't seem like you have any hostile shit towards him.
Hey, but let me give you a little behind the scenes stuff of what happened with.
Oh, that's the behind.
Okay, so I'm doing, I think it's New Year's Eve. I'm in New York at the Garden. I think it's Bellator, PFL, working a show. And I walk in the dressing room, and John Kavanaugh is back there. And this is when Conor is going to fight Floyd Mayweather. I'll give you guys behind the scenes stuff. So I see John Kavanaugh, and I've worked, because every time, I've worked with Conor and John and all that. We knew each other before the UFC let me go. So he comes and gives me a hug and says, "Hey, man, I need to talk to you about working with Conor for this fight." I said, "Yeah, of course. It's a big, big mega fight, right? Why not?" So, we talked a little bit, and I had to go back to ringside and do some work, and came back and into the dressing room during the break. And he said, "Yeah, I just spoke to Conor, and Conor likes the idea." So, but I had told him that I had like 4 shows already booked. They were going to train in Las Vegas. And he says, "Yeah, we got these dates and this and that." So he goes, "I'll have my agent call me." So it was the assistant that called me, and he said, "Conor and John want you in camp. They're going to start in, I think it was July or June or something, in Las Vegas at the UFC training center, but they want you to be there every day. Can you cancel out those shows?" I said, "Yeah, of course. It's a mega show." So my attorney, we sent him a proposal, a very fair proposal of the cost, and they came back and just said I was too expensive, and no counter offer. But I don't think it would have looked good for Dana if I would have been working with Conor McGregor at their UFC training center, getting ready for a biggest fight in history. And so I got shot down with that one. But I understand.
Okay.
Yeah, I wonder if there was something behind them saying no to, like, yeah, if it didn't look good for you to be in there, kind of give a bad look. But like you said, you're doing bigger and better things now. Hey, but you can go help Conor for this last fight against Dustin so he can win, because I want him to win this next one, man. So go help him out.
Yeah, I love working with Conor. I remember the first time I saw him fight. I always worked his corners. I think we were in Sweden and then Boston. But when I saw him for the first fight for the first time, I went in the dressing room. I said, "Man, you could fight." He goes, "The Irish are like the Mexicans of that side of the water. You guys could fight and you guys could drink." And from there on, we always kicked it off real good.
Oh yeah. That's funny.
I want to talk about your wraps. You have your own stitch custom wraps.
I was looking at that on Instagram.
Do you have it in front of you, or do you have it in your kit? Darn, I should have had to have you show it, because it's so cool. How did you get that? How did you do that?
Like I said, marketing has always been my mastery. I kind of consider myself a savant when it comes to marketing. In this business, you gotta sell yourself outside of doing what we do.
Yes.
Right? So I've always been real good at that. But if in boxing, there's a tape called War Tape. And I was doing a UFC show in Sacramento, and the guy gave me some samples and wanted me to try it out and give him my opinion. So I tried it out, and I said, well, you need to do this, you need to do that. And so anyway, they ended up, and I worked with him for a while, and Tap Out and me teamed up with him, and we made some stitch tape with War and all that. But then his partners ended up burning them. And, you don't do that to guys that I respect. And I thought, why should I put my name on their label? Why not create mine? So the old adage is I showed them everything they know, but not everything I know. So mine is Stitch Premium Athletic Tape. I added more glue and I made it easier to rip, but still the tensile strength is strong and all that. And so I did my own, and then the metal swell that we use, the KO swell. Speaking of Kenny Florian, I think we were coming back from England and we're at the airport and we're talking about swelling and all that. And actually this bottle right here, if you see these bottles, I kind of put it right here and it's kind of curved. And I thought, it makes so much sense because the swelling happens here and it happens here where everything is contoured.
Yes.
So I sketched it out one time, got some clay. I made the model. It's in the freezer now. And then I made my first KO swell, but based on things like that. So, I've always tried to improve things and just, work on things. But I teamed up with Wonder Ramirez, Cutman for Hire Supplies. I was real busy traveling and I had my tape and people are ordering it. And I couldn't get it to you in time and or late and all that. So through a dream, I woke up and I called him and I said, would you be interested in carrying my tape and my KO swell? And boom, he was just starting his business and it helped him a lot. And we help each other out now. So he handles my stuff.
Yeah, you have, I was reading, let me see. You have a business card. I just want to make sure people know. You own Cutman for Hire. Tell us a little bit more about that.
Well,
Did he hire you?
No, I don't know. And I help him out through the marketing.
Okay.
But Juan Ramirez, that's his niche. And
okay.
He's the one that I had the dream of him selling my product. He being my distributor. And but I told him, I said, look, my goal is for you to do this full time. And he's getting better and he's getting better at it. But Cutman for Hire Supplies for like the coaches, the trainers, and the cutmen, everybody that's working the corner. It's everything is designed by Cutman in that website. So Cutman for Hire Supplies, yeah, they have everything.
So when we get Illinois booming again, can we hire you?
Economics, we got to talk about that.
I'm like, can we hire Stitch to be on our fight promotion?
When are you guys going to do that?
Well, Andrew's been talking about it with me and kind of asking me a little bit of advice. The sanctioning body here is kind of particular. They're special. And they've heard a lot of promotions since they really put the hammer on sanctioning here. A lot of our promotions have disappeared or couldn't afford to keep up with the shows because it got too expensive. And so Andrew has expressed he would like to amp up Chicago again. We would like to put Illinois back on the map because we used to have 2-3 fight shows a weekend, and now you're lucky to see one once a year.
I feel like that's easier said than done.
Yeah,
Illinois is not the best state.
I'm quite familiar with Illinois. I've been, boxing in Chicago, and so I try to, it's nothing bugs me more. I think I understand my game pretty good, and especially when it comes to wrapping hands. And nothing bugs me more to have an inspector that I know is not as qualified as me trying to tell me what to do. So what I'll do is I'll put them on the hot seat and I'll ask them questions, and they're blah, 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 blah. I understand. I mean, I think even in Illinois, because I have my own Stitch tape, right, that says Stitch Premium. Well,
yes.
I ask him why. He said, well, it's because of the ink. Okay, then why? Well, that's what the book says, So I understand. But yeah, if anything, I'd always love to come and help somebody out in any kind of promo.
Yeah, it's interesting, the sanctioning bodies. Do you find some are more lenient than others?
Oh yeah, of course. And it's what I love working about Nevada. Nevada is probably the best commission just worldwide. And when you start off with logic, logic is the whole key to running a good commission and not having egos. and a lot of these guys work on eagles. And if you're in the MMA industry with Illinois, it's probably even harder now because none of these guys are MMA enthusiasts.
Yep.
Great.
I have to agree. I have to agree with that. You are dropping a lot of knowledge,
A lot of pearls of wisdom.
and you are so professional. And I think at our last, when I had the Cutman's roundtable, we did touch about fighter safety, and we also touched about professionalism, how you handle yourself. So it isn't just wrapping hands. You have to carry yourself a certain way, especially with these fighters. It's just, what can you touch on that?
Oh, I get questions all the time, and let me ask you. And the reason I didn't want to come on the show with all the other cutmen is not for ego or anything like that. It's just that I wanted them to have their time and their moments to explain themselves and all that. So I figure I'll let them do it and let them shine. And so shit, I forgot the question.
I respect that. Though. I respect that. Though.
Oh, I forgot my question too.
Okay.
What was the question again?
Professionalism. Let's talk about, touch a little bit about professionalism, because it isn't just about wrapping hands, but it's about professionalism.
Yeah, so I get emails and messages all the time on people that want to be cutmen. You get doctors and nurses and EMTs and paramedics and housewives and husbands, and people are always asking me what's it take to be a cutman. And here's what I say is you got to spend hours and days and weeks and months and years in the gym working with the fighters, even if you're not going to be a fighter, understanding what their pain is, what their mental game is, understand those. And as you're doing that, you're in the gym on your own cost, wrapping hands and getting the confidence of these fighters to work a corner and then possibly work cuts. But, you got to spend all this time in the gym doing that. And I think one of the points you brought up earlier was passion. Passion, I think, is the biggest thing we have to do what we got to do to take care of these fighters.
Yeah.
I love it. Love it.
Right, because you're not going to get the limelight like Conor McGregor and stuff like that, and you understand that. So that passion it gives you that satisfaction in a different sense, and you're content with it, which is cool, like I said. So respect to you, and like I said, you handle yourself very respectful. Even on here, we brought up, like I said, I mean, the UFC departure and a couple other things. You could have easily been like, hey, no, fuck you, whatever it is. But, let's look at the better things. Okay, you let me go, guess what? And my career went from here, and now it's here. Yeah. So, and that cutman that didn't want to help you and said, hey, screw you. Hey, look where I'm at now. So
I love it.
You can point out the negatives. Hey, yeah, Dana White, this and this and this, and screw you. Or you can be like, hey, guess what? Look where I'm at. Movies. My resume speaks for itself. You don't have to say shit, Stitch. It's there. Everyone sees it. So power to you, brother. Keep being professional like you're doing it, man, and keep being a role model for these people, brother.
Appreciate it. And literally, I have to say this is the truth, is through everything that has happened in my career to this day, I've never asked for one job. I swear. I just, I'm just that proud Mexican that can't kiss nobody's ass, so I've never asked for one job. They've all just come to me, and I know how to handle them, and that's why maybe I respect the position as much as I do because of what I'm going through. So.
Hell yeah.
Stitch, as we wrap up the show, we have a few minutes left. Let's tell our guests exactly how they can find you and follow you, because I'm sure there's so many that would love to follow. You're so inspirational.
I followed you. I had to search for you. It was really difficult.
I'm at Stitch Duran, and I always try to respond back to the people that have comments. I think that's being respectful. That's being the Randall Cunningham of social media, is always get back to the people and at least let them know that you're thinking about them. But at Stitch Duran, I'm pretty simple.
You are pretty simple. I find you, I've been following you for a while anyway. So I'm pretty much, I was friends with you on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram. Unfortunately, Instagram took down my really big account. I had a really big account, and then Instagram, because I spoke too freely about my beliefs, they squashed my account. I've been writing them every day since October of last year to try to get my big account So now I have my little tiny 300 followers on my little Twitter account or on my Instagram account. And I would never, I don't regret it. I miss it, but I don't regret it because you should always take a stand for what you believe in as long as you are not hurting anyone else.
Yeah, I agree. And as long as logic is such a simple thing to follow.
Yes.
And like say the word passion and just, believe in yourself.
I love it. Thank you so much, Stitch, for coming on. I would love to have you on again. You are amazing.
Thanks. I got shitload of stories. Next time we got
I bet never-ending stories.
Never-ending stories.
We'd love to have it again, man. Really would.
I'd be glad to.
We'd be honored. Thank you so much, Stitch, for coming on. And the view, oh my goodness, the link will be available shortly, so I'll make sure I send it to you so you can take a look and share it with your followers.
All right. Thank you, guys.
Thank you so much, Stitch. You're
the
so
one, the
motivational.
only Stitch, y'all.
I love it. What two great, very special interviews.
Oh, yeah. Shannon
You guys
started
make
us
sure you
nice.
tune in next Friday. We have more guests lined up for you and some more hidden secrets about some people who are willing to share their information. I never pry. I don't pry. But I'm really excited about tonight's interview. It went really well, and I mean the professionalism of both Shannon and Stitch are just impeccable, you guys, and a lot of motivation there. Take some of that inspiration and take it in everything that you do. These are two very well-known people who have a lot of wisdom and they're very humble people. So, you guys, we'll see you next Friday.
Yeah. Never too late, y'all. Keep going, man. We'll see y'all another big the next Friday's coming up. Every Friday. Hey, it's gonna be Friday. All right.
One more thing. We're looking for alpha males for the all male, well, maybe I might join, I don't know. Roundtable coming up here in June for Father's Day. It's our Father's Day special. And also wanted to let you guys know that it was announced tonight that, oh my goodness, let me read it real quick, Steve, and then you can drop me.
That the Bulls got for us.
It's official. Mike, U.S. Marine Corps Richmond is a BKFC fighter, Bare Knuckle FC. He will be making his debut April 30th, and I cannot wait. I have been a huge fan of his for some time. You guys make sure you look out for that, and Paul keeps making those announcements of all the fighters that he's got. He's got some hot fighters, male, female. They're ready to rock. So you guys make sure you tune in next Friday. See you guys. Have a good weekend.